Good morning. Welcome. So I'm curious, what are you guys all learning as this whole crazy story keeps playing out? Hi, Sylvie.
Hello.
Hi, Isaac. Did you want to speak, Chandra? Chandra, did you want to speak to Isaac?
You mean me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not really. I just woke up.
No worries.
Okay, I will unmute you. Okay. Okay. For me, I'm at the moment I'm really curious because people are going to wake up, and at the moment I'm really thinking what has to happen before they are waking up, because what I see now is that not many people are clearly seeing it yet. I don't know how you see that at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, in Australia, it's like it's in the last little while, it's getting more and more extreme.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
And I just see, like the momentum of the push to get everyone to believe the mainstream story is immense. I mean, really, they're spending billions and using every trick, it's like you have to get it to go back to some sort of freedom, and or you get $100 off this if you do it. And I mean, like a lot of really interesting ploys, you could say, and people are getting worn down.
Yeah.
In some ways, but there's a lot of people. It doesn't take that many people. I guess even if 10% of people really stand up, but it's a very, in my view, it's a very well done, well orchestrated program that then anybody that is standing up is considered a virus spreader or and all this stuff. So it's like it's there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of spin just. And so the people that see are, it's beautiful that there is some sense of community and some recognition that it's okay to see and that it's okay to recognize and question. And it's, to me, there's a huge opportunity of learning to keep peace as your priority, I could say it like that. Because at times it's like, I mean, suicide rates are up, people are losing businesses and jobs and homes, and families are under enormous pressure from being, stuck together, and alcohol and usages, gone up. It's like suicides have gone up. We know all these things. So, how to be in the midst of this whole thing and stay true to what we love. It doesn't mean not taking action. It's really, but it's also, I think, what people are exploring is what action is the right action for them, because it's not one size fits all. Everybody's got a different function and a different way of finding their way in it, So to me, it just seems like it's a huge learning curve at the moment for all of us, because the pressure is extreme. And I think, for those that can see, it's not about a vax or not a vax, it's about the whole agenda behind. And so, and then, it's like when you see the full agenda, and then to not go into polarization, because it's like, wow, it seems, no, it's like, just that recognition that whatever is functioning through us is playing every role. And so, it's and it doesn't mean that there's not, and then it doesn't mean that there's not consequences for people that are participating in, you could say, in a way that is not in integrity or not, that's off. Of course, there's consequences moment by moment for functioning like that. And if there's justice, at some point there'll be some kind of trials, like Nuremberg trials, where there's consequences. And that includes, many doctors, many police, all the people that are participating in a way that's, it's not in truth. So we'll see what's meant to happen. I mean, this is it's very, but it's like, to me, it's just, I see that the same thing happened, in the Mahabharata, where Krishna went to Arjuna and said, look, we have to go to war. And Arjuna was this mighty warrior, and without him, the battle would have gone against. And he said, look, but these are my uncles and my aunts and my family. How can I go into battle with them? And Krishna said he had the capacity to show him what would happen if he didn't. And then he could see it was his dharma, his duty to, as a warrior, to go and fight. And Krishna said, I'd be your charioteer. So ultimately, the same dynamic has been going on throughout history. It's not new. And here we are again.
Yeah, but this one is different, I think.
Yeah, I think it's intense. It's like,
I believe in a good end.
Yeah, you know, again, we good and bad and all that stuff we don't know. I know that you know, if you look at as people with the white skin, we have a very different view of what's happened around the world. Like, you know, the Native Americans were dispossessed and killed off, and Aboriginals were put in chains, and Black people in America, you know, I mean, it's like it's on the story, so to speak. And, you know, we've been a generation that never had major wars and have had, you know, in a certain sense, a very privileged existence. But there is a war going on at the moment, and we're in it. And the war isn't being fought with bullets, although they used rubber bullets on the people and the protesters in Australia the other day.
I saw it. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
amazing. And so, but there's always these little, we had a protest in, you know, like it's what's so amazing. The truck drivers, you know, they've closed all the borders in Australia to different states. And so now, and there's people that live, you know, just on one side of the line, and they work across the line and stuff like this, and they're not letting people cross that border, which was very fluid before. It's the same country, and so the truck drivers were told that in order for them to cross the border, they need to get the vaccination. And the truck driver said, "Okay, well then we're going to block all the highways." So, as far as I know, they've done that, but you don't see it on any media anywhere. It's total media blackout of it. And so you know, like around Australia, we were asked to go to the local councils or to the government offices and just stand silently. So in this little area, about 600 people went and stood outside the council chambers, and it was amazing vibe, just beautiful, just people standing quietly and enjoying the moment. Of course, there was about 20 police were there, and one guy kind of like bullying personality said, "You have to disperse. I can give you all $1,000 fines." And people just started laughing at him. They didn't take him seriously. It was like, one guy said, "Yeah, your fines aren't worth the paper they're written on. Go ahead, you know." And so then they kind of backed off, and they were just standing around watching people. And you know, there was a few ohms where people just ohmed and just standing, being present. It was quite amazing. But you know, what changes that actually makes. But even amongst the politicians, there are some politicians that see what's happening and are actually talking about it in Parliament and trying to take action. But it's sure. So here we are. I'm sure it's in every country, it's probably a little bit different, but so, you know, it's like various countries, they seem to really be pushing to see what people will put up with. And then countries like Denmark, they just, as far as I know, they've removed all bans. And there's countries like Mexico and stuff which are pretty free, and Costa Rica, different places in the world.
Finland too, Isaac.
Finland also, yeah. Yeah. So here we are, you know, and the main thing is just look, wow, we see each other. We're here with an open heart, I would say like that, or an invitation to an open heart. Najma, please
Somehow
feel free.
Sorry?
Please feel free.
Somehow, oh, thank you. Yeah. I felt already free. Yeah, sometimes it's in my mind to have a different definition for conspiracy or something, to make it more clear that it's a bunch of just very rich people who want to, yeah, how do you say, monitor, who have a policy of wanting to monitor people and to, you know, be in control, and to have that a bit more in a definition instead of conspiracy, which is so mixed up with all sorts of things. But yeah, that came to mind.
Yeah.
But I have no solution for that. And in Holland, I was a bit shocked that now even 60 doctors were clearly told not to spread wrong COVID information, or they could be banned from the doctors' community, and because they were still speaking about HCQ, and I was still shocked that they go this far to.
They're really going, to the. I mean, in Australia at the moment, there's a push for a cashless society because cash spreads COVID. I mean, it's nonsense, but I mean, I don't know where they get that kind of data that cash spreads COVID. And you know, you're getting experts that are saying that to try and vaccinate into a pandemic is a completely wrong approach. It's absolutely nuts. You know, it's like it doesn't.
It is
Scientifically, it doesn't make sense at all. And so, but today I just got a phone call from one of my boys saying he's considering going to get the vaccine. I said, listen, man, don't be flippant about this. It's really, but his mom has had the vaccine and really putting pressure on him. And so it's like, that's how it goes. And so I sent him a bunch of links and said, please just watch these. And there's no rush, you know, if you just give it a little time and see. But then, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys see them too. There's all these videos of nurses speaking out that they're not allowed to report people that are getting sick from vaccinations and stuff. I just watched a video from a nurse in an old age home, and 15 to 20% of well, they've all been vaccinated, but 15 to 20% of them had serious side effects, and they're not allowed to report them.
Yeah, I'm part
at
of
the threat of losing their jobs.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm part of a Facebook group, the Corona Middle Way. I just joined because they had some very good articles also about this, what you're talking about, that in the statistics, it's been, it's all been taken out, the side effects or the deaths through vaccines, that they just, put it away. It's,
I mean, yes, if you're looking like right now, very openly, the CDC is saying that the jab does not protect against the variants. There's some people, I mean, look, I'm not even sure that there is such a thing called COVID, to tell you the truth, because it's never been actually identified, and now they have all these variants and that. But you know what some people are saying is that the jab does not protect you against these other strains, because every organism will mutate to, you know, keep being able to do its replication. So, and if you've had the vaccine, the jab, your system is much more susceptible to these new variants. And in fact, you know, it's like if you keep using antibiotics and you develop these antibiotic resistant organisms.
in in Israel, it's now
Yeah.
obliged to have a third shot because
So
they found out
that's
that
that's
people
the
who have-
story. It's like, that's the story. It's like
because
this endless boosters.
vaccinated people do get into the hospital and do get the Delta variety.
Mm.
Their process is seems to be less less intensive than from non-vaccine people.
Not from what I've heard. Not from what I've heard of the people, they get hit harder.
But anyway, so now they are not vaccinated with 2. Yeah. So it's okay. Thank you.
So I mean, as a business model, what a great thing, people have to take endless boosters. It's like, a little while ago, there was this Irish woman who just spoke very clearly about like following the money, like there's these 2 major organizations, BlackRock and Vanguard, and they own Pfizer and they own Microsoft, and when you start listening to how the whole thing functions, it's, man, they've got it sewn up in an amazing way. It's and yet here we are.
I heard last night something that they're not autopsying hardly anyone that's been dying from vaccines, that there's no autopsies at all.
Yeah, then there were very few autopsies of people that so-called died of COVID. I mean, if you use any common sense, it's so clear that the whole thing stinks, but yeah. But here we are, and the thing is, I think we can see it, and it's easy to then, how could I say, just to watch the cascade of chemicals that get released in your system. And, especially when, like confronted with projection, ignorant projection, and then how to remain as peace. It's really a strong opportunity. So. Please.
Isaac, I have this incredible interest in all of this, and same opinion, and I've seen so much, but I know that I'm thinking of backing away more and watching less of it, because this system's been it's almost like it just it's too much. And I notice more aggression. I notice if someone else has a different opinion, there's so much like self-righteousness almost coming in, and wanting to change their opinion, or I mean, not that I do, but that impulse is there.
Oh, for sure, Marina. Look, what's beautiful is that you notice it.
Yeah.
And so, like, in a way, your mind is looking for a solution. And there's nothing wrong with backing off from it.
No.
And at the same time, it's like, using the opportunity, just watching those movements happen. I've noticed those movements in me often when people really are nasty on something I've posted, or
I can imagine.
But and it's like even a lot of people that like have been coming to meetings for years, and all that stuff. I mean, it's interesting because somehow people get really offended, and then they project that I'm misleading people and that I shouldn't, and my position and all that stuff, all those ideas. But for me, it's been, this big journey of watching what comes up in me around it and just seeing, look, it can go into a fight, or it can go into, okay, yes, it's okay. We have a different perspective. But I also have started getting really clear about, if someone makes really weird comments, I just delete them from my friends. And it's because for me, I haven't found any value in Facebook arguing at all. It never goes anywhere. And so, yeah, it's like, it's okay with me if people have a different view. It's just like, there's no point in, especially if it's an argument. If there's a true inquiry and there's a genuine interest, great. But if it's just, their mind is made up and they see you a certain way and all they want to let you know is what an asshole you are, I don't need that in my life.
I respect the speaking out. I get to wanting to speak out, but I actually find it too scary. I can feel the system is like, whoa, I'm not ready for the response if I speak my truth or whatever. And I mean, it's not like a lot of people are going to listen to me, but
But
it's
Marina,
like,
look how beautiful. And right there's a beautiful exploration.
yeah.
It's like, you're noticing quite finely and beautifully. And so, okay, yeah, people, I could say, as long as people are looking through a dualistic focus, there's going to be opinions, there's going to be judgments, there's going to be just the normal habits that come with that focus. And it's a fantastic training, just, okay, wow. So fear arises to just be authentic and speak what's true for you.
Yeah.
Okay, not wrong, not bad, nothing you have to fix or change. And if it interests, an inquiry can start to happen. Okay, just gently, just curiously being present to that interesting movement, you could say, because clearly you're not deciding for it or choosing for it. It's just something that happens, and probably an old friend that's, it's not wrong, it's not bad, it doesn't mean anything about you, speaking out has always been kind of a danger in this dimension. So I can, understand. It's like our ancestors, found ways of not speaking out so they could survive. And speaking out, it's always relative. It's like, it's one thing to speak out when there's, to speak out when Hitler was in power would have been crazy. You would have just been murdered, so it's like, it needs to be appropriate to the circumstance. So who knows? So I just see that I'm probably on every list there is in Australia for sure, because I have been speaking out. So, but it's okay.
And my son's had the vax and a second shot. My daughter's on board with how we view it, but that's a difficult one too, because I know I've tried once. I kind of feel like I want to send through more things. I also know there's a resistance to listening to mum. I'm probably not the one to get it to. I've asked my daughter who he'd be more open to, but I don't think, I don't think he's open to it.
That's,
then what to
that's
do.
that's the tricky part. You know, when I watch people that are highly qualified speaking about it as a kill shot, and that and I see that, you know, everyone's got their own journey, and it's like, wow, I try, and listen, this is what I know, and I really invite you to look for yourself, but I can't convince you. It's not about that. It's just about, but there is, you know, like the amount of energy going into spread pro, how can I say, pro participating in this madness is huge. It's incredible.
Yeah. I never
So
watch
parts-
mainstream news, but like you get the odd snippet by accident. I can't believe, you know, it's just 2 minutes is gives me the.
Yeah, but you see, it's there's so many tiers of that, because it's like you might not watch it directly, but then the people that you love and know, oh, you know, we love you. You need to take a vax so that we can visit you, so that we don't get you sick. And I mean, there's so many different layers of the, you know, the way it's organized. It's
Yeah. Most of my social group haven't had it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, not that they're interested either. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, thanks, Isaac. I'll mute
Yeah,
myself.
thank you. You know, thank you. I can just say how it is for me. You know, everybody's going to find their own, their own way. I could say.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's so interesting. You know, like I see Mike is on the same page in how she sees it, but she has no interest in spreading it or going to protests or anything. She's just kind of busy with how her system responds. That's all. And for me, I find that quite valid and beautiful in its own way. And yet she supports me, you know, going out there. So we'll see. Monica, please feel free.
Now you can hear me, I
Yes,
think. Oh? Thank you.
perfectly, yeah.
I want to share some things. I have been on a protest at Saturday in Zurich, Schaffhausen, Switzerland, and I didn't know that it would be a protest. I know they want to versammeln, they want to get together the people and from Schaffhausen resistance. And I was in a protest, and it was so interesting. One point have been that I had the impulse to go to a policeman. That there have been 2 policemen besides, one policeman with a mask and the colleague without a mask, and I had the impulse I have to go to him. And it developed that I could go to him, and my friend asked him, now, how do you think about this all? And he said, I cannot say something. I'm in beruflich. I'm not allowed as a policeman
exactly.
to tell. But my friend has asked him a few questions, and it was very clearly on which side he stands. And yes, and there had been a moment, it was so crazy at the end, that I looked him in the eyes and he looked me in the eyes, you know, and there was such a same vibration. It was so great. I can see the spiritual Entwicklung, development in the eyes, and I told him, you are one of us, yes, and you have a great heart, and it was so great. And he told that also in the police, in his office, there are a few police who are with us and the other against us, and it was so great, and just love to float. It was just like I look in your eyes, you know what I mean, or
Yeah,
it was so great.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's what's interesting, is because there are people that are willing to risk. And there are, you know, quite high up police that are saying that they didn't sign up for this nonsense. And, you know, inviting other police, look, you took a vow to protect the people, and you really consider this protecting the people, you know, and it's like, you know, it's your duty to not follow an unlawful order.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yes.
it's tricky because when people do speak, they lose their jobs. They, you know, that's.
Hey, Isaac, I can't see your eyes. Where are you? I don't know. You
I'm here.
in this direction. I can't see you.
Okay.
But what must I do that I can see you?
You know, like at the moment, I'm just keeping everybody on my screen at once. So
You see all.
if I pin you, then I don't know if that's better, because then I'm looking more just at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's better.
Okay.
A little bit, okay. Yes, and another woman is going to the policeman and said, oh, when they are against us and when they are fighting against us who are not vaccinated, will you protect us? And he said, yes, I will protect you. It was so nice. It was so interesting. Yes, and it was a very peaceful protest, and but it was so strange to look the people outside who saw us. They look. I saw fright, also Angst, fear, but or I saw as if we are from another star or so. You know, you felt. So it was so crazy, and a few. They make we are on at your side, and yeah, it's very interesting. And that's what I mean is now that are so much groups who will zusammenschließen. You know what I mean?
Come together, yeah, yes.
They come together, and now we are take a breakfast together, or we talk together. This is from also städtisch, town, from the town, you know, and also we change information where we can go in future when it would be harder here.
Yeah,
it's very, very important.
That's one. In my view, that is what's happening spontaneously around the world. The different groups are coming together. Different people are organizing. You know, okay, we're going to grow food for everybody, and this is how you can contact us, and all this stuff. So there's some beautiful initiatives coming out of it, and my sense is that at some point this craziness has to ease up, or maybe not. Maybe it'll go in the direction of China, and they'll just be
I don't know.
fringe dwellers, you know. I mean, who knows? We've seen the movies like that, you know, where there's the very wealthy, and then there's people just kind of.
Yeah. But the other side is so crazy. Today I saw an interview from Jens Spahn, you know, and he told, so crazy, he told, if we are going to examine the vaccinated people on COVID, then the pandemic will never end. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm sure most of you have heard that there's huge court cases going on in many countries in the world, because everything is based on this PCR test, which is, even the maker of it said it was never designed for that. And so, yeah.
What else is it except craziness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's it looks crazy from, if you look at it from a love perspective, because it, you know, it's like this locking people down in their homes and, you know, destroying people's businesses and all that stuff. I mean, how do you talk about that? So yeah, it's there's so many. For me, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I just say it like that, just to see how quickly consciousness can be co-opted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm also feel like in a science fiction, and it is more and more crazy, you know. There are more and more crazy situations. I saw situations from a band on the stage, no, music band on a concert, and then he said, "Hey people, who got BioNTech? Tell me." And then the people, "Yeah, BioNTech, me, I got BioNTech," and Pfizer and AstraZeneca. It's a, what's that? That's totally crazy.
And then you see on the other side, big name bands who cancel concerts
Yes.
if people are required to take a vaccination to come to it. So people are standing up. I mean, it's just such a range of how people are responding to it. And so
two sides, yes. Two sides.
Yeah.
One of the prominents who are against it, and they say, no, I don't understand, support it, and the other who are in the system, also who are in the system, to use their fashion to manipulate people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it's like I would say it's a function in human. When we have a strong belief, we try to find support for that belief. It's just part of human nature in a certain way, you know. So people, you know, they don't know really why they got vaccinated, but they did, and then they try and convince other people. Yes, look, I did. You should do it too. It's, you know, you're doing it to protect everybody. Yeah. So it's
that's also. But I find it sometimes there is this support with people and so, and very, very, very helpful things, and on the other side there come also shocks into my nervous system through the news, you know, not the main news. I don't see this mainstream media, but I know it from Telegram or from Facebook also. What's now is
what's going on,
what's going on, yes, or what they planned. Now they planned in the hospitals, in the university hospitals in Baden-Württemberg, where I live in Baden-Württemberg, that you has to test you every day with the fast test, and once a week the PCR test. And at the 1st October. Moment. Ja.
Ich brauche die Akte von Frau Engel, mit der habe ich ein Abschlussgespräch. Entschuldigung. Okay, gut, danke.
It was my boss. Sorry. And at 1st October, you have to pay all the tests. You know, you must pay by yourself. And then you will work. Oh, it's so crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
And then what I mean is then comes so shocks, and I say, okay, I decided for myself, I will not get vaccinated. I decided it. And no matter which consequences.
Yeah.
That gave me peace, that I said, okay, I decided it. And when I take my cats and I go away, no matter, but no vaccination for working also, you know, because I work in a hospital, and I have the Vorteil that the hospital is private and not public. Private Unternehmen, was heißt Unternehmen? Firmen, also
Company.
Genau, company. If it is a private company, they cannot force you so fast as it is public or from the town or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Strong times, huh?
Yeah, very.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Isaac.
Isaac?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So, yeah, for me, I'm becoming more and more an outcast because I'm not vaccinated. And I have very strong experience. When I see my customers, it's all about, are you vaccinated or not? I mean, with everybody, it's always, are you vaccinated or not? And some of my customers are not vaccinated, then it's easy. And I had some funny and strange experience. One of my customers, she shook my hand. And I was a bit, oops, and then I shook her hand too. And after that, I was sitting in my car and thought, we shaked hands together. How cool is that? But I mean, how strange is that? That you, And here, for almost everything now, we need a test. You have to be vaccinated or tested. And so I stopped going to yoga because then I have to show my test and everybody sees I'm not vaccinated. And then they are afraid of me.
Yeah. Well.
And
you know what's, I mean, I'm sure you know that people that have had the jab can spread.
Yes, we all know it.
Yeah, and so I don't know why they think, and if it does work, why are they so scared of you? It's like, you know, it's like, so to me, it's like, it's funny to call ourselves unvaccinated. You know, it's like, oh, you know, have you had an operation? No, I'm one of the unoperated on people. I mean, it's like, it's no, look, I'm, you know, I'm here. I don't regard myself as unvaccinated or anything. I'm just here, you know. It's like, it's a funny label to put on someone. It's like, I'm here and I'm healthy. And if I wasn't healthy, I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't put anyone at risk. It's clear.
I mean, everybody knows that. Also the people who believe in this narrative of COVID. But it's, I don't know.
It's touching layers of existential angst, you know, and yes, so, and it's not rational. It's certainly not rational.
And it becomes more and more difficult. Yeah, how can I live? I don't know. How can I earn my money or things like that? And I have a few friends, I don't visit them anymore because one of them in Berlin, they asked me to do a test before I come because I'm not vaccinated. And it takes such funny, I don't know how to say, So, I mean, I have to look how would I like to live. And how would that be possible? It's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, big questions.
And I find it very, very, very difficult to stay at peace, or to be peace, or even the word peace sometimes.
You know, even if there's, to me, I think it's worth making the discernment that experience has nothing to do with the peace that's behind it all. You know, different experiences can come up in peace that have nothing to do with the peace itself. So I think that's a confusion that often plays, is that somehow we think because something comes across the screen that the peace isn't there underneath. It's always here. So, you know, when, you know, it's like I could feel like when I went to that protest, the fact that there were policemen roaming around and threatening $1,000 fines, for many people, their systems were shaking like this, and I could feel it in my system, but I knew that there was no fear in me at all about it. So I was just there and just breathing in that, whatever that frequency is and was, and it's okay, it's okay. So as you're walking around, you know, of course, the field at the moment is, yeah, it's being influenced, you know, and so, and you're sensitive, so you feel it, but just not to make it mean anything about you. You're just noticing that it's coming across the screen. So not measuring yourself by any experience. Doesn't matter what's coming up, you know, it's just. Otherwise we get this idea, I've lost my peace or something like that, but. And you know, it might be worth playing with and exploring, because you know it's coming your way. People asking you, "Are you vaccinated?" Is there a way that you can answer them that doesn't go into that realm? You know, it's like, oh no, you know, like, yeah, I'm really healthy, you know, and enjoying good health. You know, so you just don't go to where they're coming from. It's like, yeah, and I would never show up if I didn't feel well, because I know that vaccinated or unvaccinated can both carry the virus. And so, yeah, I'm healthy. And I wish you good health or something. I mean, finding ways to play, you know, and you don't have to answer someone at the level that they're meeting you at, because then you're in the game already, you know. It's like, maybe that's useful, maybe not.
Mm. Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, beautiful. And you can feel something's calming down. It feels like that to me.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that?
Mm.
Isaac, Brigitte.
Brigitte.
Yeah, I've been, of course, on top of everything for a long time. And what I come to now is that, and we can organize to save ourselves in the sense of food or cooperation, and when things get worse, which is good if you have a community of people who can support each other. And what I feel is much more important is if we can organize to raise our frequency, because I think if we raise our peace and heart frequency, love frequency together, which has been measured by the Heart Math Institute, that you emit much more photons, like 5,000 times more photons if you are meditating on love and being in peace and love yourself, which affects.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I see. That, you know, like meeting together like this without going into, you know, like a fear story or a separation story, and just, yeah, wow, we know what we love.
Yeah, but then consciously get together and practice. I mean, be still, be love. So everybody, that was my thought yesterday. Get together with people either on Zoom or physical and practice this to get, you know, to because that's the light versus. You don't want to go into light versus dark, but you want to go above that and just be in that frequency.
Stay with what really interests you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have a strong knowing that is the only thing that's really matters. It's quite a learning curve for all of us being in this situation. Yeah. And in the end, the fighting and duality I found is making me more miserable. And if I'm going to think of all the people I will going to lose because of they had the jab, if the predictions are true, whatever is coming out of him, I don't know that either. Then I'm going to be in a total state of fear, because then I will be the only one left of my family and my kids and whatever friends. And so it's
so something in you is already kind of looked at that, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not like we have to dwell on it. It's just like, okay, this is looking, okay,
no,
that's a possibility.
But this is such a good community to practice it with.
For sure.
Because so that's why I bring it up, because it's where everybody has an interest in this. Otherwise,
see, to me, it's this story of, yes, we have our main interest, but we also not blind. We do see what's going on, and absolutely, it is beautiful to support each other in being true to what we love the most. And it's also really useful to just being aware of the context of what's going on and seeing day by day, you know, just as what's the next move, what's the how does life.
And I can feel the heartbreak you talk about, and I have been in different stages of disbelief that something this heartless is being pulled off worldwide, and which is a total genocide. So it's yeah, it's
And you know, it's so amazing that you see that somehow there's an aspect of consciousness that's participating in it, that goes along and says, okay, yes, I'll go and take the jab. And
yeah.
so, you know, it's just interesting to watch how it's like how, you know, you look at it and you go,
Yeah, I think the
not up
most
to me
difficult.
to, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
No worries. It's just, you know, I just see it. I can invite. That's all I know how to do is invite. Listen, it's not my journey for sure, but yeah, if it's your journey, I can honor it.
Yeah. Where what I feel is where I need practice and is that I don't harden myself because of the possible future scenarios. So not close my heart.
Yeah. And you can see you would never do that. If that happens, that would be an automaticity.
That would be a what?
An automatic unconscious movement.
Yeah.
And so if you notice it's happened, then, you know, inquiry would kick in and just go, okay, something in the system feels threatened or feels like it needs to protect. And okay, I can honor that. And, you know, you're just getting in touch with other layers of information from other generations or in our lineage. So it's a tremendous learning time. So
yeah.
see, to have an idea that you've got to keep your heart open rather than just being present and noticing what is happening. It's a very different orientation.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a, I think I said this before, but it comes up again. It's such a contradiction in fighting, not fighting, in being in this in this breast cancer treatment trajectory in order to live with projections of, if you go through it all, you have 50% chance to live 10 years from now. And here we are in this crazy world where people, you don't know who's gonna survive all these jabs. You have no clue.
You just don't know.
Sorry, I have no clue about myself, but I don't have a clue about the world either. So
yeah, funny, eh?
yeah.
Sure. And it's okay not to know.
Yeah, getting more comfortable with it.
Yeah. I'm curious, just I'm going to go back to gallery view, but I'm love to see in this community how many people have gotten value out of the current, what's going on currently, and feel where it's like something is maturing in you or kind of getting more capable of being present to a whole range of stuff. Yeah, for me, I've definitely like that. So, yeah. Seems like many of us are taking that, the opportunity to keep inquiring, yeah, and just because it certainly has taken us out of, you know, what you could call a habitual discomfort zone into really shining a light on where there's been unconscious movements playing. Yeah.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi,
Hi.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys as well. I just sitting, something came up as has been coming also in these times more clearly to me. It's like this part that almost I don't know how to call it, but it's like I would call it something like hate or something. It's almost wanting to things get destroyed. It's like I can, yeah. So it's like being mad at the world, being angry, and just, you know, if you don't see it, then fuck you. Then and from that perspective, it's quite difficult to be in connection and to, you know.
Thanks for speaking it so clearly. I'm sure if we ask in this group, almost everyone would resonate with that. And, you know, I certainly can see where that's come up. And there's so many different layers to explore in that movement, I would say, like that. Because underneath, at least for me, there's like such a hurt. And you know, just not understanding how, you know, consciousness can function in such a unconscious way. Just, you know, especially when it starts to get personal, where somebody projects, and I say an expression of totality projects onto us that we're crazy, or that, you know, that they know and we don't know, and all that stuff, then it can really touch that. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's
You
in
know,
a way
what we've been exploring over the years is just this deep seeing that sense of I, or that sense of, you know, what looks like individuality, are unconscious movements that nobody's doing. So for me, that's helpful in when it starts to seem to get personal, to see that really whatever's playing there, are automatic unconscious movements, and there's no choice in it whatsoever.
And it's in a way, as we speak about it, it's like at this what is happening, making it so much more clear. Like, we are so out of touch, and it's so painful to be in a world that's so out of touch. Yeah, so it makes it more clear, actually. You know, that's quite difficult for I think, and all of us, but for also if you're more sensitive or more open for the information of this being out of touch and the hurt around it, that's quite difficult to find. It's more challenging to find a way that's you know, to enjoy life in this organization.
Yeah, you know, that's, to me, there's a story from Ramana's life that I love. Is, you know, he was sitting with some people that were coming to see him in the meditation hall, and some thieves came, and they were throwing rocks on the roof of the meditation hall. So he sent someone up and said, "What would you like?" And they said, we want to steal your stuff. And he said, you don't have to steal, you can come in and take it. And they said, well, we don't feel comfortable coming in there while you're there, you have to come out. So he said, okay. And he took the people that they were with him there out of the room, so the thieves could come in and do what they wanted to do. And as they were coming out, one of the thieves hit Ramana. And, the people there saw him as God, and they wanted to go fight with these thieves. And Ramana said, look, they have their interest, their journey, you have yours, stay true to your journey, don't get involved. It's the same thing, it's just like this, stay true to what we love. And just watch very carefully how the mind plays and just bring it to peace again and again and again and again and again. I mean, it seems that for some of us, that's what we're here for. Yeah, so for someone looking from outside, it might look like we're doing nothing, but yet there's a very deep process going on of just exploring moment by moment by moment. Yeah. Being available to that, just allowing life to use us for that. It was funny, because people asked Papaji about this kind of stuff. And he said one of the best meditations is looking down the sights of a rifle. So he was a soldier, and so it wasn't about not taking action. It wasn't about also not fighting, because he was familiar with the whole Ramayana and Krishna and Arjuna and all that. It was just about this really staying true to what you love, even if in the midst of having to go to battle. And, when I speak, it either resonates with the deep knowing or it doesn't. And to me, it feels like it does. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an invitation to, be that and not so much busy with human emotions and thoughts and
all that stuff. Yeah.
trying to fix it or. And what I'm noticing that's happening in me lately is trying to orient like how to move in these times and maybe things changing rapidly. So I was curious, like, what are your sense, and everybody who can share is like. Because I'm also like now a recent maybe 1.5 months more open to the information that maybe like the food chain can collapse. These things, and so I'm curious what information is here and what your view on this is, and because you just mentioned as well, like on some point this should calm down. But to me, it seems like that point is not near future. It's
no,
more.
it's on. In my view, hard to know exactly, but it seems like supply chains are breaking down at the moment, and there's this in around the world, there's been this massive making up of money that just doesn't even exist, to so-called give people payment so that they can keep on living. But it's you don't need to be a genius to see that the system's at breaking point. So it's like, you know, here in Australia, they're already talking about doing away with private property ownership. I mean, it's just like, you know, that whole thing, if you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, you'll get these little payments. And if you're a naughty boy, they'll just turn off your payments. So
That's already happening now?
they're trying to pass it through Parliament. But I mean,
What's the idea?
I think if
what's the narrative for now about on it? What's this? What are they saying?
Okay, it's like what's happened in Australia is that the governments here are actually corporations. They no more, we've moved away from the constitutions, and they all have ABN numbers, and so there's like, it's according to the actual constitution, it's treason, and there are court cases now trying to expose the treachery that's going on. But it's a deep hole because, you know, the judges have been appointed by the politicians and stuff like this. So it's hard to know where and how to get justice. But there are like higher people from the army and police who are aware of what's happening and are trying to set up people to function to bring it down. And I'm pretty sure it's the same all over the world, that you know, it's, you know, we're given this illusion of voting for who's in power, but actually it's a game. It's like it's a rigged game. It's not. So it's great that you see. Okay, how do we? Are there friends that have a bit of land where you could maybe grow a garden together on, or you can get those little plots in Holland where you can grow food for yourself? And I mean, just to see within your context what you can actually do, you know, it's just so in this area there's like a whole group of people who see the same thing as you do, and they're trying to organize people, you know, growing food and delivering, and, you know, alternative systems. And so, you know, it's like, it's hard to predict it, but my sense is that what could come out of this is like groups of people that are really functioning as communities, supporting each other in a very practical way, and a whole nother way of functioning comes into being that's really, you know, like in tune. So at the moment, we just, you know, like listening deeply, quietly, or in what way can I participate in life that feels authentic and good, and it's not fear-based. It's like, okay, wow, it's heading in this direction. Then how do I participate? You know, it can go down the fear pathway first, but if it does, just exploring. Okay, that's fear, and okay, well, what's the movement that's practical in relationship to what our intuition or our knowing tells us? So many ways of participating at this point. As I see, you know, everybody's kind of finding their feet. It is really unusual times. It's, you know, but you know, we've seen before where like, I think it was in Russia where, you know, like the systems broke down and people started growing food in their backyards. And now more than half of the food in Russia comes from backyard. Yeah, so there's, you know, there's quite a lot you can do in a small area of ground. And yeah, so it's time to start exploring all these other possibilities. And again, it can come from a place of, oh, fuck, that's too much. You know, if it's like that, then I don't care. I just wouldn't, I want to check out. But at the same time, it can be fun because learning new skills and, oh, wow, that's cool. Again, I don't think there's a right way and a wrong way. I think we're all just like looking, okay, here we are. What does my knowing tell me? What does my intuition tell me?
Yeah, I've been, you know, interested in getting we call it townhouses. It's like you get a little garden, you have a little house, and you can grow your own things. So I'm working towards that, and that's really nice. And I've been actually before Corona busy with that. And another thing is like I'm exploring also to see like what country, what places are, or you know, or what kind of living situation would be nice.
Yep, beautiful, great explorations there, son. I mean, I know you visited Mexico or someplace, right?
Yeah.
And there it's a whole different vibe, eh? I mean, it's
difficult to get good information because also Mexico, on one hand, you hear the stories around it's going to be most liberated, or how do you call it, most free country around Corona. But on the other hand, you hear other stuff that can easily change, and it's already changing also. When I was there, I could also see Mexico City was actually also, you know, people, I think, watching television, also really actually more than Holland there in this fear-based orientation, you know.
Yeah. You know, at this point, it's like if you're exploring that, for me, I would look to be more rural. I think if it's possible to get out of cities, that's where the movement is going. But that's just my take. If you know, everybody's got to find what. I have some other friends that are living in Mexico, and they say it's good. Where they are anyway.
Which part is this?
I'm not sure which part. I can ask and let you know. It's
if you guys have some ideas, experience, please share. That would be nice. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, there are a number of people that are starting to look about, okay. You know, I'm sure in every country, you know, it's different in different parts of the country, in different, you know, areas and stuff like that. So it's really like you're doing your research and checking it out, and you know, everyone's got different circumstances. Some people have, you know, mortgages and kids and stuff. Some people are more free to move, and you know, it's certainly not one size fits all. That's clear. Yeah. You know, for me, it was like living in South Africa. There came a point where it was really clear it was time for me to leave there because, I could see what was going on in the country, and I could see that I needed to leave before, you know, I got a business going or a family going or something like that. And it's still not easy in a way, you know. You have to leave what you're familiar with, and you don't know what's waiting for you. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's really. I mean, my sense is we're all in a deep inquiry, you know. Yeah, and I love hearing how it's playing in you and what you're exploring. I find it beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to Sylvie now. Sylvie?
Hi, Isaac. Do you have any information about what's going to happen with the money? Because they want a cashless society, indeed. And
Well, I mean, that's a big, that's a big movement, you could say. You've seen the tapes of Charles Schwab, talking about you'll own nothing and you'll
yeah,
be happy.
yeah,
The Great Reset, they call it.
yeah,
So this idea of that, they're going to have a digital currency and everybody will have a universal basic income as long as you toe the line, and that's part of the vaccine passport. It all fits together, and like do away with private ownership and all that stuff. And so it's
a big question.
yeah, it's like, will people go for it? I mean, for some people it'll be, wow, okay, great, I don't have to work anymore or something like that. It's, again, there'll be for the people that have been kind of entrepreneurs and really, I can't see those kind of people going, oh, this is a great idea. I think a lot of people there would really, it would become riots, and it's like, no fucking way. So who knows where it goes, Sylvie? It's just like, you can see a general direction that it's being trying to push in. In some ways, I don't think they're going to succeed, those few families that are pushing this whole agenda. But who knows? It's like, it feels like it's this classic story.
So
and to me, it's like, it's either we go into a fear story around it, or we stay in our sense of humor and like really exploring how we can navigate it, and also kind of be in community and
learn about farming, I guess.
learn about farming. I mean, it's like, well, you've got good horse poop, which is a great beginnings for garden beds.
What did you say? You have a good?
You have kids that love horses, so you got access to good manure.
I don't understand it. The manure.
Horses, when the horses poop, that is, yeah.
My horse.
Your horse poop
Oh,
is really good for growing vegetables. The poop of horses is really good.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I'm really from the city, and oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have also horses here on our land, and I make a lot of compost from horse poop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I will remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's, like just a small lesson. Horse manure is very hot. You need to break it down to use it for plants, because it'll burn your plants. But if you mix it with garden waste and stuff like that, it becomes beautiful. It really, yeah, great food for veggies and fruit trees. Anyway, learning curve, eh? Yeah, so I've shoveled heaps of horse poop. Trailer loads. Yeah, thanks. So there's two sides to this whole thing. It's like, wow, a certain way of functioning that we've kind of grown up in, that time is over. And how do we embrace what's new? And how do we find, you could say, the excitement of learning and finding new ways? I'm open to what anybody else sees, or if you have another perspective or something you want to speak of, you're so welcome. Andres.
Hello together. Hello, Isaac.
Hi, nice to see you.
Well, we have to have a lot of informations, and it gets to a point where it really gets confusing. But what I found interesting is when you turn it around and don't focus on the action outside, but on the reaction inside, and you have a handful of emotional reactions, and it gets very bodily, where the system or the body is in pain. So you asked for observations. This was one. On the one hand, really get informed what is happening. But on the other side, the second view on the reaction in the system all the way.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and then comes from here a second step. To confront it, or to this observer or Advaita state, to be the observer, to let it happen, to bring me out of the situation, for sure is one way to confront if there's a possibility in me in that moment. But on the other hand, to really work with the energy or the emotions and the body in that moment, and not dissolve them and not making them a way to get in higher frequency, that seems not the right way for me.
So, I mean, if I hear correctly, you're speaking more about the somatic approach, where you're really present there,
exactly.
and you're inquiring into it, which is, of course,
and how,
I love that.
And how really to open the system into this love energy or higher frequency when we speak about it. Well, to see, I cannot do it. Like when I say to me, I want to have higher frequency or love energy, that doesn't work. So it's more for me to get this stuck energy open and let it flow, not taking it away, but open these emotions and not putting or doing this away, these emotions that are stuck, but more to open and bring it in a flow. And there comes a capacity slowly, and it is a really way other state than this observer and bliss state. You begin slowly to open the system into something different. And there's really, for me, it's important to make this differentiation. And well, it's probably too much for 1.5 hours, because it's a lot of of stuff in that and differentiations, but that's the most important point for me in that moment. And that's also the point that it's not more SE, it's more the ISP, it's the integral somatic approach, which comes from SE. The SE tends to calm things down. It has a tendency to make it away or to calm it down. And the other approach is more go with this energy which is stuck and build your energy body with it. And though you change the frequency of it. So even at the computer or with all this information you get right now, it's for me more a process to look at my reaction and widen it if possible, and not go so much in the observer or that what we know from Advaita or what we lived all together here. So that's what I wanted to say about this differentiation, and that's the most important topic for me right now, where I tend to think the old Advaita look or approach, yeah, maybe it's not full. Maybe it's too much for this moment. I will come to the retreat, and I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, in my view, that's where the meetings have evolved to.
Yeah,
and so, to me, the differentiation is like, activation arises.
Yes, exactly.
And so activation arises. What does it have to do with me? It doesn't have anything to do with
There
me.
is a radio behind somewhere that I hear extra noise. Is it possible?
Is someone unmuted?
And I hear some extra radio.
No, it's I think it's Andreas, his sound, so we can't. Nobody is unmuted or so whatsoever.
Okay. Is there sound in the background there?
I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I can unmute or mute.
Yeah. If it continues right now, it stopped. So, yeah, in my view, like this, movements happen, and very often the automatic is that there's resistance to it, and that resistance is identification. Nobody does it, but that resistance itself is the identification. So untangling that and starting to see, okay, wow, something happened and there was resistance to it. Beautiful. Honoring the resistance, honoring the initial movement, and then very finally exploring and starting to see, okay, that's how it functions. And like being present to it in a way that allows, usually, to me, it always seems like it's old ancestral trauma and old information to get new information, and so that the nervous system develops a capacity, you could say, so it doesn't just respond automatically, unconsciously. So that's the cutting edge there. Yeah, just.
Yeah, exactly. This cutting edge is interesting.
Yeah,
and
for me too.
Yeah, and really the states of consciousness are quite different to the Advaita states. When the body and the energy which is stuck, it's building up your energy field. It's another state. And yeah, I ask myself if this is why all this shit is happening. Really to come a clue in this area. And I have a picture. It may sound strange, but all what happens outside, there's a deep, deep layer, probably in all of us, where this James Bond image or film part comes up, this bomb which stops at 007, maybe you know the scene, and it seems there's a layer in us which has to unfold that we see it, but we are the creator of this whole shit that happens outside. And as long as this layer deep, deep in us functions, yeah, the game goes on. It sounds strange. No, it sounds.
No. So let's just play for a second, Andreas. So here, life is happening.
Yeah.
And in this flowing of life,
yeah,
a sense of I arises. That, if we really look deeply at that sense of I, it's an activity. If that activity gets really quiet, there is no I. So that sense of I doesn't have doership. What that brings into view is that this expression that's happening, there's nobody doing it. There's nobody outside of consciousness that's creating it. It's consciousness itself. And in my view, it's like it has a function. It is bringing itself through this inquiry into another resonance, into another frequency. But it's not by trying to be in a higher frequency. It comes out of a love of exploring, a love of seeing, a love of authenticity and integrity and all that stuff. So, yeah, for sure, there's a participation whenever there's unconscious functioning going on. That ends up with the world that we live in. Yeah. So in that sense, yes, it's generating itself. And so the opportunity is just this ongoing inquiry. And I love that. It's like, it's like, that's what I'm here for, I could say it like that. So just what I could say, this noticing and very fine. Okay, where's there some subtle resistance? And where's, what's getting touched here, and where is it moving into a position? Where is it moving into something that's producing a split? So I love to hear how it's maturing in you. It's beautiful, and I feel in resonance with it. So happy to hear.
My feeling is that there's something new behind that, and yeah,
Okay,
maybe a big eye. This last level of Advaita has probably, or what my feeling is, a level behind. But it's too much, I know.
Let's see what it reveals. That's cool.
Yeah, it has to reveal. It's a working hypothesis. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you.
Bettina.
Hi.
All right.
What troubles me a lot in this issue is that sometimes there comes a pressure. I have to do something. I have to do more.
Mm.
And there's a feeling of guilt that I not do enough, that I'm not getting louder or. Yeah.
In Bettina, we can check with the community and see how many people know that movement, because I'm sure it's not, it's, you know, you don't have the patent on that particular movement. It's a, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah. So you notice that movement. And then somehow something happens that it seems to be personal to you. And the moment it seems personal to you, certain chemicals and feelings happen in your whole system that support that perspective, that it means something about you personally. And all of that is just, nobody's doing it. I would say it's automatic, unconscious movements, yeah? And from that perspective, like this, you know, like it moves into being hard on yourself and, you know, feeling helpless and confused. And I mean, it's really, it's a vortex. It goes to some quite dark realms. Nothing right about it, nothing wrong. It's just the way that mechanism functions, yeah? And usually the mind then, or our thinking, tries to help us, tries to figure it out, but it's not in a peaceful way. It's like very violent actually inside. Yeah? It's like an inside war in a way, you know, to speak it another way. Again, not right, not wrong, not good, not bad. It's just a way that consciousness functions. It's not personal to any person.
And perhaps could this be the issue why no doing appears or something? Because
of course, you know, from like within that vortex, doing is almost impossible. So then, of course, then there's being hard on yourself and not doing, and it's like it makes it almost impossible to get a clear feeling of, okay, what's my direction now? And, you know, it's usually very loud, so it really pulls our attention and keeps us, in a way that keeps feeding it in the, so we hear and then.
And it is connected with the old habits of, I'm not okay and I have to do, and
I'm not good enough, and yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, so it's like you can see it's part of a really, a whole organization that's not, and then just underneath it all would be some subtle sensation that's kind of just playing, that then there's resistance to the sensation, which then shows up as an emotion, which then shows up as thinking, spinning around and all that stuff. Just slowing it down, yeah.
And there's a movement to go into speaking with others, and always
right.
running.
Of course, because it wants to resolve itself.
Yeah.
it's highly uncomfortable and it's highly charged. It can't sleep, it can't function. It's it's looking to resolve itself. And once we can see it's looking to resolve itself in a way that can never resolve itself, then another exploration maybe can start to happen. Okay, we here. Just it's presence. There's that activity that we call I, usually going on in the background somewhere.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so as your system calms down now, just how does it look from here? Just sensing into the sensations that are appearing in this moment.
It's more space for all that.
There's more space for all of it. Yeah.
There's no solution, but it's more space for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
activation.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm curious just to explore the difference between a solution and a movement. Like, when you, like, something pulls you into a certain activity, and it can pull you from the perspective of a solution, or it can pull you from the perspective of, don't even know why, it's just moving like that. Like, oh, I'm suddenly interested in growing vegetables. Oh, and then but it's like, it can be from the place of, oh, it's because of the problem, but it's just like, oh wow, I can see just within the context of life at the moment. Yeah, it might be a useful skill to know how to grow some tomatoes or some lettuce or beans or whatever. It's like.
Yeah, it's a difference. The solution is there everywhere and in far away, and the movement is right here, one movement after the other.
Yeah. Nice to make that distinction.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like discernment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it gets softer. Something gets softer.
Something gets softer. Yeah. And then as it gets softer, then like the capacity to explore in a different way, because when it's in the vortex, it's almost impossible to explore.
It's almost the thought, oh, you have to explore, but
yeah,
nothing is.
Puts more pressure then.
Yes,
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 yes.
Yes. That's on top of it then.
Mm-hmm.
Slowing down is always the help.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see, like, we can have the construct of slowing down, but then how does, again, it's like there's an interest here. Somehow, if I have to say it, is like a learning, an interest, being able to, as activations happen, as old movements happen, what facilitates the capacity then? And a lot of times it's just reaching out a hand to someone that you love and trust and say, okay, wait a second, can we just meet this together? It's like, but then we have so many ideas around that. It's like, oh no, I should be able to do this by myself, or all that stuff. Okay, we're in this, we're all in the same boat. We have an interest to meet the moment as the beloved, meet it beautifully, meet it, you know.
Thank you.
Cool.
I think the time is over. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you.
Let's go back to gallery view to greet everyone. I didn't get to meet a couple of you, but I got to at least see you. And thanks for showing up. And Sylvie, thanks for hosting. There's a retreat coming up, and there's still a lot of room in it if anyone wants to jump in at the last minute. And other than that, yeah, there's the Tuesday and Sunday night meetings when the retreat's not happening. But it's just a great place to explore together. So everybody's welcome. Good night. Love, peace, beauty. Yeah, ciao.